We're talking about a music that was originally created by slaves who were playing instruments that they made. Homemade guitars, bamboo saxophones and bamboo flutes and whistles, the rumba box which is playing bass. So perfection was not the objective. It was more groove. And this music really has a lot of groove.
That slightly imperfect rootsy music is known as Mento, opening this week's edition of World Tracks with me, Alison Hurd. Mento is Jamaica's earliest recorded pop music, dating back to the 1920s and 30s. One of its current leading lights is Gilzean and the Blue Light Mento Band, led by Langford George Gilzean. The four-piece band recently played live at RFI Studio 136 from their debut album, Sweet Sweet Jamaica.
You see.
Well, I'm Langford George Gilzean, the leader of the Blue Light Mento Band. I got into this music from I was a little youth, you know. My dad, he usually played the Mento, you know, so from playing the Mento, it's like I gravitate this style of music, you know, from my dad, you know. And one thing about Mento is a music like this. Whenever it starts playing, you always want to dance. You know, for it carry a melody that whenever you even sad, it make you happy, you know, and glad.
Tourists from Canada, say they come to Jamaica. Come from America, German and Australia. Say they come to Jamaica, in the Caribbean, where they can get all the food that they love, like it's all fish and yellow yam. Oh, sweet, sweet Jamaica, the land that we love. Oh, sweet, sweet Jamaica, the land from above.
Why I write this song about Sweet Sweet Jamaica? I wrote this song in person to let you people from abroad, you know, telling you about Jamaica, you know, the sweetness, you know, the climate and the beaches, you know, and the type of food that we eat. And the way you can come to Jamaica and enjoy yourself, you know. So that's why I write that song. Come to our sweet, sweet Jamaica, the land of paradise.
Do you believe that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet, sweet Jamaica, the land from above.
Sam Clayton, you produced Sweet Sweet Jamaica.
Yes.
Tell us about the roots of Mento music.
First, I wanted to say that I co-produced this album with Stephen Stewart at Harry J Studios in Kingston, Jamaica. And, well, Mento is actually the first pop music of Jamaica. It's the father of ska, and therefore the great-grandfather of reggae. Mento music actually came from our slave history, came out of our slave history, when slaves were trying to play the folk music of European slave masters. Obviously playing with the instruments that they had at the time, which were all homemade instruments. And hence we have the very unique instrument called a rumba box, which is playing the bass.
And it's a sort of Mbira-inspired seat, in a way. Is it in some way related to that?
I'm pretty sure it is. There's actually no specific history of exactly when it was made and by whom. Obviously, the slaves who created this instrument must have had the inspiration from these traditional African instruments. And that's where it came from. And we have a very unique player in this band who also plays a lot of percussion pieces. So it sounds like a complete drum kit. It's a drum and bass instrument in this band, actually, the way he plays it. Another really important note about the music is that during slavery, Mento music had two purposes. One, obviously for the music, and secondly, the text always have a double meaning. And originally, this was one way for the slaves to pass messages to other slaves. Okay. Slave masters didn't know what the second and real meaning behind it was. So for them, it was just a bunch of guys or people standing there laughing and playing music. Meanwhile, there could be a serious message being passed. On the CD, there are several tracks that use this principle. Water Your Garden, for example, sounds quite benign, but it has a very sexual meaning to it.
Yes, basically, let me water your garden. Yeah. I'm going to get my hose pipe out. I mean, you don't have to be very intelligent to understand. Right. This is a very sexy song.
Yes, it is.
Me old, show you me pole, dig up the soil, plant up the seed, give me the job, make me water your garden, and make me reload me hole, show you me pole, dig up the soil, plant up the seed, give me the job, make me water your
Of course, we also have Wings of a Dove. The origin of this song is very sad, in fact, because the slaves were singing about, life here on the slave plantations was so hard and so tough that if they had wings, they'd just fly away. But since they don't have wings, they're just going to sing about it and try to make the best of what they have right now.
If I had a wing like a dove, if I had a wing like a dove, I would fly away, and gain a rest. But since I had no wing, I'm gonna sing. Since I had no wing, I'm gonna sing.
There are some other traditional songs which are not on this album, which had a more serious meanings, where they actually spoke about escaping from the plantation or burning the plantation and stuff like that. And also in the 1950s, when, of course, obviously slavery had ended, the text was the most important aspect of the music. So Mento bands would install themselves in downtown Kingston on Market Day, which is Saturday, and sell printed copies of the text of the songs that they were performing on the street. Mento is Jamaica's first recorded music. Historically, we started quite late to actually produce our own recordings, which only came about in the very late 40s and early 50s. And most of the ska musicians in Jamaica, of course everybody knows the Scatolites, came from Mento to ska.
And reggae?
Well, from ska there was rocksteady, and from rocksteady we have reggae. But it's quite clear to see the lineage, the family resemblance. Yes, a lot of reggae rhythms are straight from the Mento playbook. I mean, they took some of these rhythms, they took a lot of text from old traditional Mento songs, and created reggae songs from this. And the style of playing the bass in reggae came directly from how the rumba box is played. The production was deliberately done in a way so that listeners could hear what Mento sounds like in the way you would normally hear it in a bar when the band is playing. Mento is really roots music with a very roots sound, and we thought it would be a disservice if we didn't represent that. You know, we're not making pop music, and we didn't want it to sound like a pop record.
When we look up our lights out, God, walk and come on me eye. When we look up our lights out, God, we say, water come on me eye. Boy, come back, lights out, come back, girl. Water come on me eye. Come back, lights out, come back, girl. Water come on me eye.
Lanford, Gilzine and the Blue Light Mento Band. How popular are you in Jamaica? Are you stars?
Well, I'm popular, but not as I would like, you know.
Okay.
You know,
What kind of places do you play in most of the time?
more open air places, you know.
Mento has never died, but in Jamaica it's not the popular music of the day, obviously. But there are still a few Mento bands in Jamaica who play mostly at cultural events all through the year, and a lot of bands still play in hotels for tourists, which is where most of them earn their living today.
Lanford Gilzen, bringing out this album, what message do you hope you might transmit to foreigners?
Well, what I'm saying now, I'm trying to promote Mento worldwide, you know. We would like to travel right around the world and let the people know what is Mento, the way you sing Mento, the way you dance Mento, you know. And I also would like the kids that is coming up, the younger kids, to gravitate to Mento, and I would like them to teach it in the music school.
Well, I wish you the very best of luck. Thank you, Lanford Gilzen and Sam Clayton, for joining us here on World Tracks.
Thank you.
Thank you too.